What's going on, guys? So this is another episode of the Ultimate Guide to Dark Souls 2, and today we're going to be covering Drangleic Castle.
Yeah, so we're finally there, guys. Finally got there.
First thing we got to do though is we got to go to the Ruined Fork Road bonfire in the Shaded Woods so we can make our way there. Now, at this point, now you could have made it here earlier because we're going to go through something called the Shrine of Winter. Now you can either go through that once you have all 4 Lord Souls, so the Rotten, the Sinner, Freya, and the Old Iron King, or if you get 1 million soul memory in that playthrough.
Yeah, so for instance, you could like grind like on a boss in particular, and then like kill it over and over again by using bonfire aesthetics, and then just go to Drangleic Castle that way. So you don't need the 4 Lord Souls, which I do I appreciate that they put that in the game.
It's a tactic used by speedrunners because, let's face it, the Old Iron King is a retarded boss and is completely based on RNG, whether you get knocked into a pit of lava or not.
Yeah.
So they tend to just avoid that and bonfire aesthetic farm the Rotten.
So there should be a Flexile Sentry here if this is the first time you came here. But
we killed that in the Shaded Woods episode.
Yeah, so if you want to see what that's like, just go back to Shaded Woods, but it shouldn't be giving you an issue, really. I'm assuming that's not why you looked this guide up.
I mean, probably not. So look, this is the Shrine of Winter. Now what the Shrine of Winter does is it takes you to the 3rd DLC if you bought it. So what you could do is go to the 3rd DLC, get the first bonfire, go back and use the shrine again to come back here, so it's a much closer checkpoint if you die on the way to Drangleic Castle. Because there's a bit of a challenge before you get in the front doors, so to speak.
Yeah.
So just in case you do die, it means you're not running from Shaded Woods again. You just spawn in at the bonfire in the DLC and go back through the shrine. At least that's the way I've been doing it anyway. It's simple.
Yeah. So remember to pick up that Divine Blessing, and here we are. There's a Haid Knight here.
Much like the first Haid Knight that you fought in the game, this guy, he drops a weapon. He drops the Haid Lance. That is, like, that's guaranteed, yeah?
Yeah, and on New Game Plus, the Haid, I think he drops the Haid Great Lance in New Game Plus.
Yeah.
And
you have to farm them for quite a while.
Yeah, and they also have a chance of dropping a bit of Haid
their
Knight
armor as well, yeah, which is also insane. But the Haid Lance is really more like a spear, but just like every other Haid weapon, it comes with lightning damage by default. But yeah, there's just a few guys to take out here. Now, this is a bit of a pain because your lock-on kind of messes with you at this point, but these are Royal Swordsmen, Royal Guards.
So these are not just like the ones in...
These are the exact same as the ones in the Bastille, yes.
Yeah.
If you watch the Lost Bastille video, you can get information on their item drops there.
But they also drop...
You need to pause it because I've not got it here in front of me. Alright, so the Royal Swordsmen drop the Royal Swordsman set, their armour. They can drop the Royal Greatsword. They can drop heavy crossbows if they're using the crossbow. They can drop Radiant Gems, and they can drop Common Fruit. So the exact same as what they do in the Lost Bastille. Now there's a lizard coming up, so we need to put on our bonk.
At this point, you probably want to upgrade the large club a little bit because we're not in the 1-hit kill range with our current upgrade path for this lizard anyway. So we end up hitting it and then it just runs away again.
I mean, you can hit it and then like R2 it as well if you get lucky. We just didn't.
Yeah, we just didn't get lucky with it. So.
Yeah, but by all means, upgrade the great clubs whenever you can as well because they are like the best weapons in the game for taking out a lizard. Really.
Yeah, they are very good because it's like because it has that running slam, but it has quite a long reach. So. And
the slam flips onto its back as well, so that if the slam doesn't kill it, then you can hit it with a follow-up pancake as well.
Yeah, but like I said, we just missed, like...
Yeah, I hit R1 instead of R2 is what happened there.
Yeah.
So that's why we missed it, but if you guys hit R2, you'll get it anyway. We're not too bothered about that lizard, to be honest, due to the fact that it's not necessary, but we're going to get it anyway for the sake of the guide. It does have chunks, I think it's 1 of each, or 2 of each, or something like that.
See, there we followed up with R2.
Yeah. So that's 3 chunks in a slab actually, so that is a +8 to a +10 right there.
Yeah, so maybe that one is quite important.
That one is very,
slab, so yeah, forget what we just said there. But
yeah, never mind, I forgot what it dropped. So, coming up the stairs, we're actually going to run into the Emerald Herald, who's finally moved from Firelink Shrine, fuck's sake. Medulla. God damn. But yeah, she's finally moved from there. A bit of dialogue, and then she like gives you the cold shoulder. But what we're actually doing right now is we're going to switch to our greatsword because there's a couple of huge mastodons. The Primo Knights from Doors of Faris are here, but they're significantly more tanky.
You don't even really need to do this, by the way. He just decided to do it because he wanted to use the greatsword for a bit. That's literally it.
Yeah, I mean, you could just go ahead and Dark Weapon and go for them as well. You could even poison them, which is quite effective too.
Yeah, using if you've got
there
any
are
poison
two
arrows.
of them. Yeah, I mean, if you get poison arrows or if you get poison throwing knife spare, then bam, go for it. But we get a little bit wrecked here. Take a little bit of damage, stuff like that. It really just goes to show, be careful, because even we're experienced at this game.
Yeah, you got a bit reckless.
We still get kind of fucked up here, so don't worry about it. But these Primo Knights here, just like the ones in Doors of Faris, they have the chance to drop the Mastodon set. The Mastodon Halberd, the Great Shield, the Titanite Chunk, and the Old Mundane Stone. These guys will drop the Mastodon set and not the old not the rusted Mastodon set.
There's barely any difference between the two.
There is no difference other than one is gold, one is not.
Yeah.
And the hat looks shit.
Yeah, it looks really bad.
Still.
The helmet's awful.
Yeah, it looks like some sort of plate.
Yeah.
But like these guys, usually when you're on the stairs, as long as you roll back, because they seem to have like a stopping point on their
there seems to like a height limit.
Yeah,
on
there's almost like a stop wall in the way, like.
Yeah, for hitboxes.
Yeah, it's like those really muscly guys that can't scratch the back of their own neck. They just can't do it.
So it's just a case of just spin around them. Like you could have done that with the halberd. He was just like, oh, just use the greatsword. But
yeah. This next bit here is like there's a golem on the left and on the right of this door. You have to kill an enemy near it so that it takes their souls.
Yeah, so you'll see right here, like enemy near it, and it gets sucked into the one on the left.
There is actually a good reason to use the greatsword here, and that is that if you go for the guy on the right first, you can launch him towards the golem.
I guess, but
and then it might take his souls if it's close enough. Now this bit here is kind of annoying because it's just multiple enemies. Once again, the game equates difficulty with throwing loads of enemies at you.
But these guys do actually respawn infinitely because I'm assuming that those people that were just killing enemies like near the stairs and shit for like hours, and then just be like, why is the door not opening? But you need to kill a guy near the door.
You need to kill them near the other golem, yeah. You need to get them close to it. So basically the best way to really take care of this is bring yourself down to 1 and then just drag him back to the door. Like if you can get him into melee, then he can come over the door just like that, and bang, you can hit him and just watch the souls trail into the golem and get around here, grab this item. It's actually a pyromancy.
Yeah, I think it might be. I think it's great combustion. And the fire seed.
And fire seed. So not only do you get one of the best pyromancies in the game, you get an item to upgrade your glove with it. And now you just got to wait until the golems turn their little urn lever pot things. I don't know what it is. And then the doors will open and reveal the inside of the Drangleic castle.
So we're finally inside the castle. The thing we've been leading up to for a while.
Yeah, I mean it's only took us what 10 minutes to get there, and that's with transition.
Yeah. So this
invisible ghosty.
Right. So this is Chancellor Wellager.
He's an NPC. He's a merchant in the game. Sells a variety of stuff. He is your source of unlimited repair powder, which is very handy. And just be careful. Don't worry, by the way, if you fight anything near this guy. Don't worry. He doesn't take any damage. He can't be poisoned. Nothing like that. You don't need to worry about him at all. He's fine.
Now, there's a couple of things relating to this guy. If you talk to him after you defeat the Giant Lord, he will give you the Royal Dirk and the Spada Repairer, the rapiers. And
after beating the boss that's at the end of Drangleic Castle, the Looking Glass Knight, he will expand his inventory.
Yep.
Selling all the weapons you got as like a sort of pre-order bonus, like the blue flamestone dagger and the yellow quartz longsword, stuff like that. He'll expand all of them.
He'll also expand his inventory on New Game Plus 2.
Yeah, under certain circumstances he'll expand his inventory. Like, by certain circumstances I mean like you can buy Wrath of God off of him in New Game Plus 2 if you have Nishandra's Soul on you. Like that. That's pretty much the way like his inventory works, is that you can buy like these weapons if you have the right sort of things in your inventory. It doesn't cost you like Nishandra's Soul to buy Wrath of God, but you just have to have it on you, otherwise you can't
Basically, buy it. Wellager is the way that you get the Covenant reward items from the Brotherhood of Blood and the Blue Sentinels without actually being in the Covenant, but you need to complete the game twice essentially to do it. So if you don't have internet, then this is
Tough
how you get. This is how you get.
Well, I mean, if
shit.
you don't have internet, you're not watching this anyway, so you know.
Yeah, exactly. But if you can't be fucked like winning that many battles just to get these things, and you can complete the game a couple of times and then get the stuff. So that's the curved twin blade, crescent sickle, spirit tree shield, wrath of the gods, bountiful sunlight, and great chaos fireball. Really, the only ones that are worth it are wrath of the gods and great chaos fireball. So
yeah, because bountiful sunlight's garbage.
Yes, that's not great.
So what you've just taken on there as well, by the way, those two knights, they're called Royal Guards. They've got a chance to drop their entire armor set, known as the Scion set. They can drop the greatsword, the one I'm wielding right now. They can drop the Scion's halberd, one of the better halberds in the game. They can drop Green Blossom and Monastery Charm.
Yeah, personally, I really like the Scion halberd. So
we're just turning around there, just to let you guys know. You don't need to go that way at all. There's nothing over there. There's a room at the other side. It's empty. The only reason why those guys are there is in case you go left instead of going right at the opening of Drangleic Castle.
Yeah.
But there is no reason to go over there at all. There is no item there. And we're not going to show you that there's nothing there because we don't need to prove a negative.
Exactly. And this is the bonfire. Now,
fun fact, if you've got a mule, you can't actually get out of this bonfire if you warp there because the door's only open from the opposite side.
Huh.
So you get stuck in this little box room. You can't do anything about
you
it.
can warp out of the box room.
Yeah, you can warp out, but it's a case of if you want to get to this box room, you have to go to the Ruined Fork Road and then run all the way around. Because you can't get through the next doors that take you to the next bonfire because you have to kill the stone soldiers on the outside of it to open the doors. Because there's more golems.
So we are sticking our old equipment back on and just using the halberd. The trusty old halberd.
Yep, because we're going up against something you've seen earlier on in the game which might give you a bit of trouble.
Now, over there is the opening to the end boss of the game. So that takes you to Chandra once you have the King's Ring.
It also takes you to Throne Watcher and Defender, which is a sort of ONS throwback.
Yeah, sort of. At least that's how we interpreted it as.
Yeah, one light that can take a shitload of damage, one bulky that doesn't take much damage, that sort of thing. So now these guys here are stone soldiers. You want to kill these guys next to the door so that the door will absorb their souls and then it'll open. These guys drop the stone soldier spear, very good spear, although it's a very rare drop.
However, Pate Spear is actually like a direct upgrade from it in terms of length and damage. So.
And you get that, we've already got that. If you followed the Pate and Creighton quest line anyway, you've got that. We've got a very rare chance to also drop the stone, it's the Llewellyn shield.
No,
that's the wrong ones.
No, that is right, Those ones are the stone soldiers.
Is it not the stone parma they drop?
No, it's the other ones that do.
Oh yeah. So, for some reason, these guys drop the Llewellyn shield, but the guys that drop the Llewellyn set drop the stone parma. These guys also drop Titanite slab, just so you guys know. But their item drops in general are kind of quite rare. And these are the Ruined Sentinels, and just like the last ones, they have a chance to drop pieces of their armor.
Yeah.
Now we're taking them on with the halberd. You guys might have, if you've upgraded your club, use the club. These guys are incredibly weak to blunt damage,
which we discovered after recording this.
We discovered that after this, but they are very weak to blunt damage. So if you grab a club, you can just go ham on these guys and take them down in a few swings, which is great.
At least we assume it would be a few swings.
It is a few swings.
But I mean, these guys are just pain that, like, they're not even especially difficult. I mean, you should know how to take on a Ruined Sentinel by now.
They also respawn, by the way, so don't take one down and then
Oh, if you go to the bonfire.
Yeah. So it's like if you kill one, don't go to the bonfire and rest and then come back. Just try and take them all out in the one go if you're going to grab the stuff that's in here.
So there's 6 rooms and there's an item in almost all of them. So
there's 5 rooms and one that advances you through Drangleic Castle, which is the first one on the right. So you don't even need to do any of this.
So right there we've got the Mastodon Greatsword. So if you've already picked one up from one of the Mastodon enemies, then
or the spiders in Sildora,
or them, then you might not want to open that door.
Yeah. This one here, I actually find it a little bit easier to take the Sentinels on inside this room, because if you go too far to the other side, then what ends up happening is that you awaken the stone soldiers on the other side, and then that's 3 enemies for you to deal with, and you also then have to kill them near the door again so that you can get the door open.
Yeah, and then if you don't kill them near the door and you've killed all of them, you need to then reset it. So
and if you walk in the middle of the room, then the Sentinels have a really large aggro range. Like, in comparison, the stone soldiers don't aggro until you're like 3 feet away from them, but the sentinels can spot you from quite a distance, which is kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Especially if you're just passing through to go to the next room we're going to open.
So there's the Royal Soldier's Ring +1, which we're going to immediately equip because it
it's
just
a
gives
direct
us
upgrade.
Just extra equipment load.
Yep.
So that means that allows us to, you know, stick on some more armor. We
That
don't,
is pretty
but it does
much
allow us to.
that is pretty much our ring setup for the rest of this game now. It is going to be some sort of, it'll be the second dragon ring until we get the third dragon ring. It's the Royal Soldier's ring +1, it's the Chloranthy ring +1, and it's the life ring +2 by the time we get it.
Yeah.
That is our ring setup because it's the most durable setup that we've managed to find. It's the one that is the most consistent. So, taking on another sentinel, just because, you know, fuck it, copy and paste enemies for the sake of doing it, but yeah.
Try and do your best to hit the rune sentinels on their sweet spot. Well, the sweet spot with the halberd.
Yeah.
That way, you know, you don't be too close to it. That way, you can do more damage with the halberd, or you know, maybe even two-hand or whatever. But
yeah,
like we've said, it's just a grind game when you're fighting these guys. They're not difficult. They just have a lot of health.
Yeah, but like if you can see there, that if you get the sweet spot, you do like a bonus 100 damage compared to what you do without it.
Yeah.
So definitely try and go for that sweet spot. Now, before we're not going to go in that room yet. By the way, that room there's the floor collapses, so we want to clear out this room and the next room first because the only way back up from the floor collapsing is to warp, and warping means we need to use a bonfire, which means all the sentinels come back, and we've still got 2 rooms to open. So we're going to take care of the last 2 rooms first.
I don't actually think we open up the last one because there's nothing in it.
Oh yeah, that's a good point actually. There is zip zop zippity bop in there. Yeah, at this point we're just baiting these stone soldiers over so we can get rid of them.
So we don't open up the door because the last door, yeah. we just couldn't be fucked fighting another rune sentinel.
You can see as well that the torches behind us are lit. It's another set of golems that the stone soldiers soul. Like as we're killing stuff, the souls are getting taken by the golems, and it lights up the torches. It's just a little atmospheric thing, I suppose. It's just really to light the room up for whatever reason.
Yeah, not that it particularly matters.
I genuinely think they're put there as a sort of, so if you kill something between it and the door, then it might prioritise the golem just so that it can be annoying, other than actually prioritising what it should, which would be the door.
I just thought that we picked up a stone soldier spear from one of the stone soldiers.
So yeah, quite lucky, even though we've already got Pate's spear, so we don't actually need it.
I'm not even sure if these rune sentinels drop anything.
They drop their armour.
Can they?
That's it, yeah. This is how you get the rune set.
Can they drop their weapons, or is that...
there is no weapon or shield for the rune sentinels. They don't exist.
Even for the rune sentinels?
Yeah, only the rune sentinels have these weapons.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Which makes no fucking sense.
But apparently they drop the armour, so...
Yep, they do. They drop their armour, which is good.
So there's a handy dandy Faris Lockstone.
It's about as handy as every other Faris Lockstone you've got by this point, so not very.
But you know, we're backlogged on Faris Lockstones this stage.
So we're going to drop down here and we're going to get the pride and joy of every Dark Souls 2 fan, which is the Faram armour. By pride and joy of every Dark Souls 2 fan, I mean every Dark Souls 2 nub who is like, I'm going to look like the guy in the trailer because it's probably a good thing.
So here is the final encounter with Dark Diver Grandahl. Now, if you talk
to him,
it
should be the third time.
It is. Now, if you talk to him, he'll ask you if you want to join his covenant. Now, touching briefly on his covenant, that platform that you saw next to him, that'll transport you to like another area. They're kind of like challenge areas.
Dark chasms, as they're known.
Yeah.
Where what you have to do is go ahead and light up a giant, basically, pot thing and set it on fire. Every time you light one of them up, you gain a further rank of the Covenant. So when you join the Covenant, you get the Abyss Seal, something that gives you additional dark damage at the cost of some health.
Yeah.
Rank 1, you get the Resonant Soul Hex. Rank 2, you get Great Resonant Soul. And at rank 3, you get the Xanthus set plus Climax. If you kill the boss in the area, Dark Lurker, you can trade its soul for Chaos. It's a Pyromancer, it's Chaos something.
Chaos Storm.
I think it might be Chaos Storm or Chaos Fireball. Alright, so it turns out I'm wrong. It's Life Drain patch that you get with Dark Lurker's Soul, a Hex which casts an orb in the air, and anything that goes near it just does like ridiculously high damage over time to it.
Right, so I mean that's the Covenant in a nutshell. It's basically just optional high level PvE. Now if you kill Dark Diver Grandahl,
he drops Dragon Chime.
He drops Dragon Chime.
Or if you kill Dark Lurker, you can talk to him and he will give you Dragon Chime as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, really.
Yeah, I mean that is pretty much it.
He sells a couple of hexes.
Yeah, like if you are part of the Covenant, he will sell like his stuff. Cast Light, Dark Orb, Dark Hail, Dark Storm, Profound Still. He sells 3 human effigies and 10 bonfire aesthetics.
See, Profound Still would have been handy earlier on in the game against Congregation because that just makes them have no attacks at all. But I mean that would imply that the Congregation, you would need Profound Still to beat them anyway, which you don't.
Yeah. Don't need anything, you do it naked.
Although, if you're having trouble with Dark Lurker, you can use Profound Still on him, and it limits the amount of moves that he has. So you can do that instead. It stops him doing like some of his casts. Like he still has most of them. For some reason, still has like his little beam sword attack, and he can still split and stuff. Oh yeah, take your armor off here, guys. There's another one of these acid pits you have to run through. It's pretty much pointless. It's just that item there, this chest, and that's it.
And both items are actually shit. It's like you get an Elizabeth mushroom and that.
Elizabeth mushroom's handy.
Handy, but it's not.
It's just an extended life gem basically.
Yeah.
So now that we've done that, we've got to put all our gear back on.
Yay, fun. Gear souls.
Yep. Equipment souls. Inventory souls.
This is the real challenge.
This is Sparta. But yeah, this is essentially what we're doing right now, is just re-equipping everything. So we're getting our bow on, we're getting our staff on, and we're getting our halberd on. But yeah, at this point it's just proceeding through. We're going to come up against a couple more Scions, or Royal Knights as they're apparently called.
I prefer just calling them Scion Knights.
Yeah.
That seems to be a more appropriate name.
Yeah, considering everything they drop is Scion something.
Yeah, exactly, so you'd imagine that they'd be called Scion Knights. But it's Royal Knights apparently on the wiki or whatever.
Well, the wiki's wrong.
So, gone up some stairs, and the next room in front of us is like a weird fucked up room that has a load of faces in it. And
it's actually easier to backstep through this room, because it's just loads of these little poison dart shooting masks. The reason why it's easier to backstep is because the backstep has a quicker startup and recovery animation than the roll, and it also has iframes, so you may as well just try and backstep your way through this section. And then coming into this room, which is 3 Scions. These guys are kind of easy to parry if you want to like try your luck. And there's a painting there. It's a painting of the Queen of Drangleic. It's actually cursed, so don't stand too near to it because it will start draining your max HP.
Is that actually a thing?
It's cursed, yes. It's a
Didn't
cursed
know
painting.
that.
You stand too close to it. Even if we didn't know that, we noticed it in our blind run.
Did we?
Yes.
Huh.
Wow, you're forgetful.
Yeah, I really am.
How the fuck are you doing an Ultimate Guide if you can't remember that?
Just never ever noticed.
There's also a point here as well that you don't really want to step through that door too much because you're going to be invaded by Nameless Usurper, a red phantom NPC who comes into the world using a bandit dagger and tries to cut your face. So that's where we're going to buff right now.
So, spoiler alert, it turns out that the Red Phantom's actually Alicia of Lindell, the person that opens the gate to Huntsman's Copse earlier on in the game.
But it's fine, you get to exact your revenge later on when you get the crushed dry orb. You can invade her and then beat her the fuck up. But as you can see here, she gets destroyed by the Dark Halberd, get her on the sweet spot, and that is you done.
Yeah,
bang.
chances are if we were slightly further away, we would have killed her in that one combo.
We still would have needed 5 attacks, we don't have enough stamina for that, but that's fine. So moving on, there's a bonfire nearby, which is something we're going to get as soon as we take care of, as soon as we don't deflect.
If it wasn't for those that ladder there, then we would have...
Or the shitty lock on.
Yeah.
We would have finished that ages ago. So there's the Royal Swordsman Greatsword right there.
And just getting into this guy so it doesn't shoot us, but now we're going to go down that ladder and there's a few items to collect.
Yep, we're not actually going to rest at this bonfire, I don't think. In fact, we probably do.
No, we do.
We're a little low on Estus at this point. Not as if you need it for the next boss that's coming up, but
Not yet, exactly. The next boss is a bit of an anticlimax, not going to lie.
The next boss is the anticlimax. So coming down here, we've got a crossbow guy again to deal with, and inside this chest is the Huntsman's Black Bow. It's pretty much the Faris bow from Dark Souls 1, let's be honest. It's highest dex scaling of any bow, it's got the highest dex requirement of any of the regular bows. That's pretty much it, really.
Personally, of all the bows that we use, we prefer the composite bow just because it's the quickest firing, really.
It depends on the build for me. Like, composite bow is quickest firing, but if I'm playing a dex build, I'm definitely going to use the Huntsman's bow. Definitely going to use the Hunter's bow. Just more damage, and more damage is good. And even then, the way you play, the way that you use a bow in this game now for PvP is that you don't fire off as quickly as you can. You pull the bow, wait for them to roll, and then hit them on the way out. So the bow speed, the draw speed, doesn't matter as much.
I guess if anything, it's projectile speed, but whatever. I mean, definitely in Dark Souls 1, the composite bow was the best one.
Oh yeah, because Dark Souls 1, it was harder to time, like, to attack them out the roll because it was just so much quicker.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, like...
It was just
that when you infused it, the damage was just so much higher than any other bow.
Yeah, it was insane. It was stupid.
But yeah, so I mean, moving on, just going up these stairs, we don't even fight that guy. Oh no, we do.
We do. It's just a case of I wanted to get to a point where I wouldn't gravity to death.
Yeah.
So more Royal Swordsman drops, and this here is Nishandra. Talk to her, she'll spill a load of bullshit about how King Vendrick has to die and stuff, and you have to go kill him. when really she's the big bad evil bitch. Spoilers, deal with it, who cares? You've already played the game far enough by this point that the story shouldn't matter, it's just getting through the game.
Yeah, I mean, who cares about Dark Souls story? So here's the boss of the area, the fucking... Everything's been building up to this moment.
I mean, let's face it, this isn't a great boss. Now, yep, you can see it on the bottom of the screen, it's double Dragon Riders. Now these guys are weak to lightning and fire, and they're sort of neutral to magic and dark, but we're using dark just to highlight once again how fucking shit this boss is.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
There's two of them. Here is the gimmick. There is a red one that you fight on the ground, and there is a blue one that sits up top of its perch and fires great arrows at you, which as long as you just keep moving left and right, you're fine.
Okay, so what you just saw there was a bit of a fluke and just generally will never really happen.
Yeah, that's why we left it in. That is the only time you should ever die to Dragon Riders, as if that happens to you.
So, as you can see, like, that guy had even less health than a fucking Rune Sentinel.
Oh, both these guys have got less health than a Rune Sentinel.
And if you are fighting both of them, the best thing, like just like with fighting any double boss, is wait for them to both finish their attacks and then follow up with yours. Obviously we got a bit complacent and got caught in the combo, but aside from that, that's generally how you're supposed to take care of these kind of things. So
exhaust Benhart's dialogue, and while you're doing that, I'll tell you guys what it is you get from the Dragon Rider Soul, just in case you missed it last time. You get the Dragon Rider Twin Blade, the Dragon Rider Halberd, Dragon Rider Bow, Dragon Rider Great Shield.
If you want the armour, you can buy it off Magirold and the Iron Keep on New Game Plus.
Yeah, so you have to wait until New Game Plus before you can buy the Dragon Rider armour. I mean, it's alright. It's decent heavy armour, there are better options.
Yeah,
like Havel's, for instance, is just the best armour in the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's always better options.
Yeah. Except the Black Witch's dress, there is no better option.
Oh yeah, I guess
that Black Witch's dress is insane, and you'll be able to buy that later on in the game, actually.
And it's worth being a transvestite for as well.
I mean, you can just use the tranny coffin and things betwixt.
Oh yeah, I mean, just do that.
I did that last night for my G+5 character. I'm just going to go about the Black Witch's dress and fuck it. But that pretty much does it for most of Drangleic Castle. Now it's really just on to the King's Passage and a few more items to pick up on the way there.
Yeah.
We take on the Looking Glass Knight, a rather interesting boss with a very cool mechanic that never works.
So at this point, we are just going to pump all our points in adaptability till we get to like 32 or something like that, until we have 105 agility.
Yeah, we're at 15 int and 13 faith, because with the Hexos Hood we go up to 16 and 14, which means we're at the base stats for the original, well, the original base stats for Dark Web means we get the full minute long duration that we want. So we need to touch int and faith again. We've got 28 strength, and we've got enough dex so that we can use the bow, the greatsword, and the halberd, so we don't need to touch strength or dex again. We're under 70% at 8 vitality, or 10 vitality, I can't remember which one we're sitting at right now. So we don't need to touch that again. We're at 40 health and 40 stamina. We don't need to touch that again. So it's really just now about making it harder to hit us, so it's all about getting them iframes.
Yeah.
Now here, go immediately to the right. If you drop down and go to the right side, the stone soldiers on the left side will not wake up, and you can actually kill these guys before they even stand up, which is amazing because you need to activate that golem in the centre of the room, which is even easier when there's only one of them to deal with and not 6. So
yeah, you get ganked really hard in this area if you're not careful, so just really try your best for that to not happen, because that happened to us a bunch of times.
And now just at the bottom of that ladder that we climbed up, you'd have seen there was a hole in the centre of the floor. That is actually an elevator which takes you up to the top, so you have to activate this golem, so we'll bring the elevator down so you can get the key to the King's Passage and move on to the next boss. So you don't even need to worry about the other stone soldiers that are in there. You can completely ignore them, or you can kill them if you maybe want to try and get a drop or a Titanite slab or any sort of souls or something like that. Then by all means go ahead, do it if you like. There's a few more enemies, however, that's sort of more difficult than they are anyway to take on at this point. So moving along here, we're coming into what looks like it's just like this grand hallway room thing where there's a couple of alone knights for some reason.
Yeah, I have no idea why they're here.
It doesn't make sense, because these are the knights of the old Iron King and the Iron Keep. Why would they be in Vendrick's kingdom when he has scions and mastodons? And this just seems like overkill. This is just like, we're just going to put every enemy in the game here for you now, do it.
Yeah, and there's more outside as well, but
yeah.
Regardless, like, there's really not an issue. They're doing no damage. The Drangleic armor is really so good.
It's just insane, yeah.
I mean, it's not amazing for like PvPE or anything like that, but for PvE, the Drangleic armor is so good.
Yeah, it's really good. So all you have to do then is get this chest open while navigating and dodging between great arrows and stuff, and grab that, which I think was
Firestorm.
Firestorm, yeah, I was going to say it was a pyromancy. And on the other side now, there's 2 more. There's another chest. This chest is trapped, so make sure when you open it you have your shield at the ready in case it's a crossbow, or make sure you're ready to roll in case it's a poison trap. But if it's a crossbow trap, you've got enough time to pull your shield up and you take no damage because Royal Kite Shield has 100% physical block. If it's a poison trap, you've got more than enough time to roll away twice and you won't even get poisoned fully.
Yeah, exactly. So
even the trap chests aren't actually like
an issue.
Yeah. Like maybe they're an issue at the start when you didn't have a shield, but
or you didn't know what the fuck you were doing.
Yeah, even so.
Okay, so
yeah, just make sure you one hand.
I'm pretty
so
sure this
you
isn't
can,
even worth it as well.
Not from memory. I mean, we'll see. It'll show us right now, which is fire great arrows.
No, we're not using a great bow, and you'd probably never ever use a great bow for PvE anyway. So
yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. There's a few areas where the great bow comes in handy. For example, if you go through ANG+, it's very handy for opening the doors in Drangleic Castle because the guy on the right is too far away from the golem, so you can use the great bow to knock him close to it, and then you can kill him from range, and you can unlock both doors without even having to go anywhere near the near the door itself, so the massive wave of enemies don't spawn.
Oh, there you go.
So there's your reason. And there's another Mastodon, and then there's 2 Cyanites. Now these are the ones that use the halberd. These are significantly harder than the ones that use the sword. But just so you know, if you step around their shield side, they can't hit you. Like, not this, like, you've seen us stepping around to the weapon side there, but that was backstab opportunity, so screw it. But if you step around to the shield side, you may have to roll once, and they just can't hit you. You can get the easy backstab as well. So opening the doors, here we go again to another repeated enemy, Mastodon. Like, these are like the only non-humanoid enemies you will ever fight in the game, really.
But they are sort of humanoid.
They're not. They're massive fucking elephants.
I don't know. I still kind of see them as
humanoid in the sense that they have arms and legs.
Yeah.
And they stand on their hind legs. I mean, it would have been more intimidating if it was like on all fours and somehow managed to wield a great shield and a halberd.
Just an elephant.
If it's just an elephant, yeah. That still only counts as 1!
I mean, to be fair, mastodons are elephant-like things, so whatever. But
yeah. So now we're up top. Alone Knights with some great bows. It's alright, they go down in 2 hits, so you don't even need to worry about them. Take them out one at a time. I don't know why I decided that the one in the middle was the one that would die last, but it is. So
I'm pretty sure there's an item up here. I'm not sure.
No, the items are down below.
Well, there's a reason for killing these guys.
They shoot you when you try to kill the Scion down below.
There you go.
It's just for completion. So in here you're gonna get another Estus shard. Yep, another one. As well as I think there's 2 chests in here.
Yeah, that way. No, just
there's
2 chests in the other room.
Yeah, 2 chests in the other room. That's what it is. I always get these 2 rooms confused. But yeah, an Estus flash shard again. So that's gonna give us 9 or 10 at this point.
Something like that.
No, wait, I think at this point we might be maxed out because we've taken Estus. We might be maxed out. Who knows?
We'll see. Regardless, I mean, it's not like you even need them all, but we've got all that you can get. So.
Well, the reason for pulling that lever there is there's actually a cage on there's like a gate on the other side of that door which prevents you from opening it or coming back from this way. That's why you go left at the bonfire instead of up to the right, because this just leads you right back around here.
Yeah. So you're back where Benhart is, but he's gone now. So because you talked to him.
Yeah. So now that we've activated the elevator by activating the golem in the stone soldier room, it's down. So we can go up and we can take the long, arduous 45-second journey to the top. Alright, so yeah, we're just going to fade it and boom, there's the top. So now you've got the key, or not the key rather, now that you've activated the lift you can get through this door to the room of the embedded, I suppose we can call it.
Yeah, so this room is actually needed for a quest in the next area, so we actually come back here and free the girl that's in the cage in the middle.
Milfanito.
Yeah.
But you can't actually do anything, you can't interact with a guy you can't interact with a gimp that's strapped to the cage or anything like that. But the good thing that's up here actually is a soul vessel.
Yeah.
So that's a key item, as well as strong magic shield, which by the way, if you put strong magic shield on a shield that you're using offensively, it's hilarious because you just take no damage at all and you can deal so much more. Alright, so now that you've taken the lift down, we can go ahead and open up the key to the king. We can open up the door to the king's passage with the key we grabbed from up top. Now ahead are some enemies. These stone statues will come to life. Now these are the guys that have a chance to drop the Llewellyn set, a very very good chest armor.
Yeah, it's one of our favourite armors.
Definitely, yeah, it looks cool and it has a cape. They can drop the Stone Twin Blade, which is a strength scaling twin blade, which is very, very quick. They can drop Titanite Slabs, and they can drop the Stone Parma. So this is kind of backwards in the fact that the Stone Soldiers drop the Llewellyn shield from... Yeah, like the Stone guys drop the Llewellyn shield, but the Llewellyn guys drop the Stone shield.
Yeah.
It's kind of backwards, probably an oversight, probably a mistake.
Now, what you can see there is you can... There's certain... there's only certain statues that will actually come to life, and you can snipe them with the bow.
Yeah.
Before, like, from a distance, and they'll take loads of damage, and you can, like, just kill them in, like, 2 arrow shots
Just
before
so you
they get
know,
up.
just so you know though, if you do it that way, you don't get any drops. You get no drops if you kill them that way. They actually have to be an active enemy for you to get any drops from them. So if you kill them in a stone state, they don't drop anything. If you use a greatsword, you can run up and then just fucking R1 them in the face, and it takes their head clean off before they even get a chance to stand. So there's that. As well as there's this Cyan Knight just guarding the Looking Glass Knight. Just one guy. Yeah. Now this is where we should probably talk about the cool aspect of this boss, and that is that if you place your red sign down here, there is a chance the boss will summon you, because the boss puts its shield down, the shield breaks open, and then a phantom comes into the world. It can be an NPC phantom, it usually is, or it can be a player phantom, and it is far more common in NG+. By more common, I mean it is the only time it will happen, because in all my time playing, it has happened once.
Yeah, not a lot of people know about it, and not a lot of people do it either.
Yeah, I have a character in NG+5 which is registered at 150 hours, and it's happened once, and all the times I've fought Mirror Knight. And that's 2 times per playthrough because it's a co-op run.
So, as you can see, you can summon Benhart here, but in true GheyForGames style, we're going to show you how to do the boss solo and with the summon, because we want to do Benhart's quest line, so we'll actually have him for the summon.
Yeah.
Because Benhart's quest line is you need to summon him into the 4 boss... Well, you need to make him survive 3 of the 4 boss fights.
It's the same as Lucatiel's.
Yeah. 3 of the 4 boss fights you can summon him in for.
And he gives you shit, that's it.
But anyway, here is the Mirror Knight.
Or the Looking Glass Knight, as it's known. It was known as the Mirror Knight in the press release, and then they changed it for some reason. But this guy is weak to magic and dark, and he is neutral to lightning and fire. In fact, we can probably say he's strong to lightning and fire, because he does take significantly less damage from those 2, compared to the magic and dark elements. So your Dark Halberd is actually a very good thing to use right here against this boss.
Personally, I think that he's incredibly easy because his attacks are really slow. He
They're
does have
slow.
a lot of defense backing him up, but
Yeah,
that's it really.
He's one of the bosses whose defenses is almost the same as the Smelter Demon in terms of, you know, how much damage you're going to do if you're not using a weapon of his weakness.
Yeah, not only that, when he slams his shield down to summon like a little guy out of his shield,
he's incredibly tanky.
He is tanky, but you can just get so many hits on him.
Yeah, but you do
So-
less than 100 damage, which is insane. Like, this is it
So
here.
he
This
is
is what he
doing-
does. Now, previously we thought that what you could do is you could break his shield and that would stop him summoning. You just can't stop him summoning when he does this. There's nothing you can do about it. But you just want to take out, you want to focus that extra guy that's in there, because Mirror Knight's slow and he can summon a whole host of guys, like even guys with spears, a guy with a halberd. Just so happened to summon one with a great shield, which are kind of easier to take on. Not a great shield, sorry, a great sword. And they are kind of easier to take on than the ones with the spears. Now, we're getting kind of fucked up right now because that summon came in and we couldn't kill it in the one go. But the Mirror Knight overall, like, he's not incredibly difficult, but if he catches you in a combo, he does some severe damage in the combo.
Yeah.
And also, he is a pain in the ass to fight, because if you even hit his shield, you deflect.
It does
if a spell hits his shield, it deflects.
Yeah, and he does have fairly decent tracking as well, so that is something.
Like, he is by no means, like, insanely easy. Like, he's not double Dragonrider easy, but he's not Smelter Demon difficult
Yeah, he's
at
kind
the
of
same time.
He is the only boss that has... He's one of 3 bosses after Smelter Demon that has comparable defenses. Smelter Demon has the highest defense of any boss in the game.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You might do more damage to you might do more damage to Smelter Demon than other bosses like later on in the game, but bearing in mind that you're a much higher level and it's really more about the damage you do for that level of the game. Smelter Demon's defenses, like, we tested all the bosses with a crossbow, and Smelter Demon took the least damage from every single crossbow bolt. He took the least damage.
Yeah.
We were doing like 110 damage minimum to every single boss, and Smelter was like sitting at the 100 mark.
No, it was about... We were doing like about maybe... All the bosses before Smelter Demon, you would do like maybe like 200 damage or something to him, like between 150 and 200. but his maximum damage that he took was like 120.
Yeah, so it was like significantly less.
Yeah.
And the minimum damage he took was like 100.
So I mean, try to think about specific strategies for the Mirror Knight.
It's really just like keep your distance, just take it slow, roll his attacks, try and like get used to his moveset within the first couple of minutes. If he summons, focus to summon. Another good reason to summon Benhart is that if he does summon, then you can use Benhart to take Mirror Knight aggro or even take the NPC aggro, and you can deal with the other.
I mean, personally, I find that it's hard to really think of a specific strategy for the Mirror Knight because it is just a guy with a sword.
It's just fighting a Tower Knight basically, fighting a bigger, badder mob.
It's kind of like fighting a Mastodon, really, just get behind it and attack him.
Yeah, except this time you deflect off everything this fucking guy does.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously you need to watch out and do your best to not hit the shield, so you obviously want to be in his non-shield side.
The greatsword is actually a bad weapon to use for this guy if you're attacking him from the side, because the sword is so large it passes through him and then deflects off the shield even though it's on the other side of him. You still deflect off of the shield, and also the shield does damage if it lands on top of you, just so you guys know.
So there's him summoning another guy. I think that
at that point, we could have just kept up pressure on the Mirror Knight and killed him immediately.
Yeah.
With like one heavy attack would have killed him. But for the sake of simplicity, we just take out the Phantom, and then we can focus our efforts back on the Mirror Knight. And we need to make sure that Benhart survives this. We need him to survive 3 of the 4 fights. If Benhart dies, Homeward Bone, retry.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the easier ones to get him to survive. The hardest one to get him to survive is
Giant Lord.
Yeah, the Giant Lord fight.
And that isn't even because the boss is tough, that's just because of all the bullshit leading up to it.
Yeah.
So that's the Looking Glass Knight. Now that you've killed him, you can take his soul to Ornifex, and you can trade that for the Thorn Sword, which is it's a great sword that fires lightning projectiles.
It's kind of cool.
It's like a great sword version of Dragon Slayer Spear.
Yeah.
And you can trade it for the great shield that he has, known as the King's Mirror. It has an 80%. It's not 80%, sorry. It has an insane parry window for spells. Like, it's got such a long wind up, but it's got like 100 and something active parry frames. It is insane. It's got like 2 seconds worth of just full on parries.
He also, you can buy his armor set off Marlin now that you've defeated him.
Yeah, and the Mirror Knight's armor set is kind of good.
Yeah,
it's quite good. It's up there.
Heavy
it's up
as
there.
fuck, but it does have good defense.
Yeah, it's definitely up there as one of the better heavy armors in the game.
And it looks great, so.
Yeah, it's definitely, it has a sort of royal vibe about it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's us. Now we're in probably one of the areas you're going to have the most difficulty with, to be honest.
This is probably, in terms of PvE and not bosses, probably the hardest area in the game we're coming up to right now.
Yeah, which is Shrine of Amana. Now, at this point, there is one bonfire straight away at the beginning. We're just going to rest here, and this is where this video will end. And we'll pick this up in the next video, where we'll take you through Amana, get every item. And yeah,
do all the quests and shit.
Even show you a nice little trick that is in the Doors of the Dead.
Yeah.
So we're just going to quickly warp back, because we've got like 60-odd thousand souls, so we may as well rank up.
However many soul packets.
Yeah, plus the fact we've got 3 chunks and 1 slab from that lizard, so that's a guaranteed weapon from +8 to +10. And that is, I think that's exactly what we're going to do with the greatsword, to be honest.
Maybe, I mean, like,
we might already have it at
after
+10
every
at this
area,
point.
just upgrade your equipment, because, like we said, you want all your equipment upgraded fully by the time you get to
NG+.
the DLCs as well. And NG+.
Yep, so what actually happened there was that I upgraded the bow with a Titanite chunk. And what we should have done was upgrade the greatsword, because we could have had a +10 greatsword at this point, instead of a +8 greatsword and a +7 bow.
Yeah.
So always prioritise the greatsword over your bow, and always prioritise the Drangleic chest over anything else you're going to use Twinkle Titanite on. Because the Drangleic chest, we are not even kidding, we wear this the entire game. Like, from the Pursuer, all the way through at the end of the game, Drangleic chest is the best chest piece in the game.
Just
for
like,
PvE.
Yeah, it's just because you get it so early and you can upgrade it throughout the game, so anything you pick up
afterwards requires more sort of soul investment and more material investment.
Exactly.
That it makes the Drangleic set even better, because you can get it right away. You can get it within 15 minutes of starting the game, if you're quick.
Yeah, so
it's insanely good.
That's the final build stats for this part, and you know, that's it for this part of the guide.
So, as ever guys, hit the video on the left to go back to the last episode, which was Sildora, and you can click the box on the right to go ahead to the next episode, which is Shrine of Amana. Now, as you can see at the top, there is some information there if you want to donate and support our channel. The link is in the description down below. You don't have to do that, of course, just merely watching the video, commenting, subscribing, or even liking the video is more than enough. As ever, Facebook and Twitter links are on screen, and our Twitch stream link is right there as well. Do not miss a stream, guys. They are amazing. Best stream on Twitch, best chat on Twitch, no doubts. But that's about it for this video.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much wraps up. So, we hope you enjoyed this video. We hope it was informative, and we'll see you in the next part in Shrine of Amana.
See you guys later.
Bye.